What a move. Truex on the outside, contact made. 56 slides it into 4. Who's going to be into stripe? Did even give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
Hello everyone and welcome to what is Mount Panorama Bathurst here for the final round of Season 2 of the official V8 Supercar Championship Series. It's going to be a classic race here, 40 laps long race. We've limited the fuel, they've got to do 2 stops. It's going to be challenging for the drivers out there today around this treacherous Mount Panorama circuit. I am Jake Blackall. Joining me in the commentary booth tonight, special guest Rachel Whiteford. Rachel, welcome to the commentary booth. This is certainly going to be an interesting V8 Supercar race.
Good evening. It's certainly going to be an exciting one tonight. Of course, I've heard some amazing things about this series, so it's great to be here to commentate for you with the final round, especially at such a storied racetrack.
Yeah, it's an amazing racetrack here at Bathurst, one that's produced a lot of historic V8 Supercar moments, and we are right now in qualifying. Ian Ford, number 1 on the door for tonight, and that's where he's going to finish on the top step of the championship series. So championship elect is Ian Ford for this series. Has driven amazing all season, and right now I'm just on board with Sam Sutton coming down the long Conrod Straight, coming down into the chase to finish off, I think, his first qualifying lap here. He's done a good job getting the car turned into the chase. Sam Sutton had a good weekend in the V8 Supercar Online Premier Series broadcast, drove some amazing races there, and it looks like he's going to be challenging Mount Panorama today, coming around the final corner. We'll see whether this is actually a time lap. Could be his out lap, but I think it is his first time lap, a 205.967 in a 43-degree track temp. That's a great lap time there, Rachel, to put him up in provisional pole right now.
And he is, of course, as champion-elect. It's likely we'd see a quick time from Ian Ford here today, but he's been pipped. That's not Ian Ford, sorry, it's Sam Sutton, so great time by him. Bucatel also then there with a 205.969, 2/1000ths of a second separating those two, Jake. At a track like Bathurst, that is almost unheard of.
Yeah, that's an amazing time there from both of those two to put it right now on the front row, separated by 2/1000ths of a second. That's nothing in the top step at the moment, especially when you look back. David Moore just punched out into P number 3 with a 206.6. There's a good 7/10ths separating second through to third, and then another 4/10ths back to Michael Cracknell. Bumper field here today, 24 cars. It's a massive field today, and it's expected around this historic circuit.
Years, of course, Bathurst draws out everybody you can get, and this track is it's almost the iconic circuit for these cars. It's where everybody wants to really test their mettle against these vehicles and just prove they can get this car around a lap here. That's an achievement in itself. Wow, a lot of people fall foul of the mountain. There's many tricky pitfalls, but I've got to say, Jake, mostly it's coming downhill here over the mountain. That's the really hardest part for these guys. This is where we'll see a lot of slip-ups and falls.
Yeah, that's right, coming down the mountain through over Skyline, down through the S's, and Ian Ford just goes P1 provisional right now with 205.833, a 1/10.5 faster than Sam Sutton's first lap. We'll see what they can do on their second lap, but under a 43-degree track temp, I don't think they will be able to put in a better lap time. Adam Zettinger as well put in a lap time to put him in P4. He's actually bailed out of his final lap there, but we've got a couple of other guys out there, Mitch McLeod, Josh Burton, and Josh Rogers. Actually, he's coming through the chase at the moment. He looks like he is on his second flying lap at the moment, so obviously made a mistake on his first one, which would have meant hitting the wall. Looks like he's doing well right now, coming out of the chase, coming down into the final corner. This corner is so hard, Murray's corner. You've got to make sure that you don't hit that inside curb, otherwise the car will want to run wide. He's actually locked an inside brake a little bit there from Rogers, little mistake. We'll see where that puts him at 206.0 P4. Not the best from Josh, Rachel, and I think he would have expected to be a little bit higher than that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he had the pace this season to be a lot higher than that, but wow, this track, we can't really put it on the same table, Jake, as a lot of other racetracks we go to in this season, so this place provides its own unique challenge, and there are drivers here that could be good at this track. may be terrible for the rest of the season. Well, actually, no, that's a bad example, but perhaps may not have the same performance at the very front in the rest of the season. So this track, it really is unique. Drivers that can do well here, yeah, they're few and far between, but Ian Ford, he's proven why he's a champion. I'm certain great lap time by him. By himself and Boo Cattell, that's an awesome set of lap times, but look at the spread we've got, 5 seconds between P20 and P1.
Yeah, massive spread here, and that just goes to show the track layout so difficult for people. You've got to make sure you get your head around it and get it well. Get a good lap time in, as a lot of people are trying to do. As I'm just having a look now at Mitchell McLeod in car number 4 for Torque Inc. Motorsports, coming down into the final corner here. Murray's corner just locked the inside left again. It's just a little bit common at the moment with a couple of drivers. 2:06.6, that's definitely not the time that Mitch would have been looking for. Puts himself up into P7. Just having a look at who we've got left out there at the moment on a fast lap. I don't think there is many other people out there. Just having a look, I think we've got Michael Taljanak, who is on a lap, but right now he's coming down out of Forest Elbow down the long Conrod Straight. I don't think he'll have enough time, and I think that's the end of the qualifying session, Rachel, so I think we can get you on your visit to come and run us through the grid for the final round here for the official V8 Supercar Series.
Oh, there we go. In fact, I will go through the racing grid for tonight's race here at Bathurst. It's Ian Ford on pole position today with a 2:05.833, great lap by him. Sam Sutton pulls up in second place. Behind him, it is Boo Cattell. Those two separated by just 2 1/1000ths of a second. Joshua Rogers, he's in 4th place. Adam Zacklinger, he's in P5 at the moment with David Moore is outside. Mitchell McLeod is in P7. P8 is Michael Cracknell. Final row in your top 10 is Jeff Gauci and Richard Olquad. Those two rounding at your top 10. The rest of those results up on your screen.
Yeah, it's top qualifying for a lot of those people. Adam Zenninger being kind of a 16, putting it up in P5. That's a good effort from Adam. He's had pace all week. He actually won the early race just a moment ago, so he's had some good pace all week to be able to put the car up there. And just having a look through the field, Burden struggling down in 12th. I don't think that's where he would have liked to have been. A couple of other cars down. Not putting a lap time, Michael Taljanak, Matthew Stratford and Ryan O'Sullivan not being able to get a lap time in. So I think this is going to be a hectic first lap, Rachel, especially around here. The wars come up fast and everyone will be trying to fight for sheep stations. We've limited their fuel. They have to do 2 stops. And I think that's really going to put the strategy into this one.
Yeah, absolutely. The 2 stops is going to be the critical point in this race. That's where we're going to really see this punch out and become an exciting one. But our first lap, you survived that. You've got the rest of the race to play for.
Yeah, I think that's what it is all to play for towards the end. 40 laps long race here. The cars are just gridding up for the moment, and we'll see who is able to get the jump off the line. It's Ian Ford for Evolution Racing Australia and Sam Sutton as a res build. Green flag and we are away. Good initial jump from Ian Ford and Sam Sutton as well. Looks like he got off a clean job. Ian just drops in front. Bo Cattell having a look, not able to get it done. So they're all just going to go line astern out of turn 1. Looks like the field has gotten through pretty cleanly at the moment. I don't want to jinx it and have cars going off everywhere. This is where it's going to cause chaos coming down into Griffin's Bend. Everyone will be fighting for sheep stations down here, trying to pick their line to run up the hill. Josh Rogers already having a look at Bo Cattell, thinks better of it, drops in back behind as I think Mitch McLeod ran a little bit wide for David Moore. He's going to have a look on the outside. This has put him in a precarious position and he's actually got the job done as Richard Elwood behind him's been tagged and he saved it. Good save there. He got tagged by Michael Cracknell going up into the cutting. It's given him a bit of a gap and it looks like Crackers is under pressure. I think that is Josh Burden around the outside here. This is a dangerous position for him to be in coming up through Reed Park.
Yes, and he's got a bit of 2-wide action back there in mid-pack here actually for you, Jake, but number 12 there of Jeff Gauci was involved in some of that, some wheel slapping, some wall tagging, but everyone's kept it together and kept those cars pointing in the right direction. Of course, let's not forget, this is the last race on the version 5 tyre model. iRacing giving a substantial overhaul to this V8 Supercar in the next build, which is going to be absolutely awesome for these guys. I've seen iRacing bring in brand new content to the series.
Yeah, always good iRacing with their updates and content. And it looks like Burden's actually, he was sideways coming down into Forest Elbow. Managed to hold on to it again, but it looks like the top 7 cars at the moment have sort of line astern, a little bit of a gap between a lot of them. Ian Ford has already started to skip away from Sam Sutton. Cattell is under massive amounts of pressure from Josh Rogers. I wouldn't be surprised if Rogers has a look going into the chase. He does so on the inside of the boost juice Commodore, and he gets the job done. So move the hyperstimulator driver up into number 3 at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if Cattell has a look going down the inside into the final corner, but it's a long race, 40 laps around here, Rachel, about an hour and a half worth of driving. Don't want to try and get in a battle too early and lose on board.
Yeah, it certainly don't. It's going to be a long race for these guys to manage. They need to make sure they're in the right frame of mind, the right situation. Don't go too crazy too soon. You know, it's a long race, so take your time and get some positioning done. Make sure you're in the right place with strategy, but we're going to have a look on board with number 3 of Boo Patel here going up the mountain as he chases Joshua Rogers, trying to take that place back. As we're going to get on board here for you, heading through turn 2. Up we go.
Yeah, we'll jump on board with Cattell here. Jumping on board here with Cattell right behind Josh Rogers in the TTL Ford Falcon in front of him. Just starting to skip away, coming through the cutting here. Awesome part of the racetrack here, hugging that inside wall. Want a short shift up into 3rd. Get the car settled over that little bump. We're coming over now into Reed Park, where the car, you want to don't kiss that outside fence as they're actually sideways over the top of the hill. Coming down over that grate through Solomon Park, coming up into McPhillamy now. It's going to be a lot. He's managed to get the car turned there to 43 degrees actually. I think that's Ian Ford was off in front of them over the skyline now, down through the S's. Just settling the car down into 2nd through the dipper. Awesome part of the racetrack. Now back on the gas. This is where Mostert had that big incident last year. Coming down into Forest Elbow. A little bit squirrely on the brakes there was Bo Cattell. Managed to get it pulled up. And look how much time they've actually gained on Sam Sutton and Ian Ford in front, coming down Conrod Straight. Looks like they may have a look, Rogers on his teammate, but I wouldn't be surprised if Sam Sutton just moves over, let Rogers through, just to get him closer to Ian Ford, who's trying to sketch out in front. Flat out here, 6th gear, left, get on the brakes as soon as you can for this tight left hand of the chase. Short shift in the middle of it, get the rear settled, out of the chase and using all that exit curve like a motocross berm. Down into the final corner here, Murray's Corner. It's actually more difficult than it seems. May just be a 90-degree left-hander, but it's much hard. That's a lap around this marvellous Bathurst circuit, and it looks like Rogers down in P2 or P3, sorry, already having a look on Sam Sutton, Rachel.
Yeah, he certainly is. Rogers there really wants to try and make a spot here. He'd like to try and get a pass completed on driver Sam Sutton. As you say, teammates, so wants to get done early, maybe take a chance at making a pass towards Ian Ford. Got a lot of time to do that, so might as well take some strategy, put his teammate in front, see if he can make a stab at the leader. If he can't, well, go back in front and take another shot. So, long way to go in this race, of course, and everyone gunning for that champion-elect. He might have the championship secure whether he wins or not, but, well, it's the pride of winning at the mountain that counts.
Yeah, everyone wants to win here, no matter where you are in the championship hunt, whether you're the champion or not. It's just winning at this track that makes it all more special. Let's see what these two TTL boys have for the Evolution Racing Australia driver of Ian Ford. Bo Cattell isn't really dropping off, and there's an incident behind between Paul Garrell and Todd Parks. They've had an incident coming up into the cutting, I believe they have. It was Paul Garrell was on the inside of Parks. They got into each other. Just having a look at the replay now, coming into the cutting, they were side by side. Hard point to go side by side. Room was given, just a little bit of contact between Paul Garrell and Todd Parks, and both hard in the outside wall there. Luckily they were out of the way for the rest of the field to come through, Rachel, and no more people were involved in that.
Yeah, thankfully they both slid off into the very small runoff area we had up there, but everyone cleared the racetrack, so everything could continue as it was. No need for double yellow flags out on the racetrack, but we want that out front there. Sam Sutton and Joshua Rogers having a great fight here, pushing to try and make a bit of a gap, but they're not really being dropped by Ian Ford. Hasn't really broken away much. That gap has been about 0.8 of a second from the start of this race, and it's constant.
Yeah, it's very constant out in front. I'm surprised that he hasn't tried to skip away as much as he would have liked. I think he's going to have to try and put the hammer down, and Bo-Cattell was sticking with him, and behind them there's a little bit of a gap, but there's Adam Zettinger, David Moore, as well as Mitchell McLeod. They're all still hanging on inside the top 7 at the moment. They've sort of dropped off the rest of the pack a little bit, but I wouldn't be surprised if these 2 TTL cars maybe saving some fuel to get a little bit of a shorter pit stop time and try and jump Ian Ford in front of him. 2 stops you've got to make here, so that little bit of strategy of when you come in, Rachel, to put different tyres on to try and make it to the end, you can really play that to your advantage.
Well, it certainly depends on how long the fuel window is, of course, Jake, but it does give you options, of course. If you want to make a pass on someone, you think you're faster than they are right now, coming a bit earlier, you can go for that undercut, so your tyres are a little bit fresher. You've got a bit of extra track time, the tyres are a bit stronger sooner on, I should say. So they get more time running on older tyres than you do. But of course that means you have to run longer in the next stint. They could pass you back unless you make a good gap in that stint. So it's a lot of balancing the strategy here. I think with these guys I'd probably run to the same number as Ford. When he comes in, I'd come in for this first cycle, stick with him, try and maybe get a better fuel stop, or plan to run a shorter second stint, and that might benefit them. But right now, with him, there's no point going crazy, so anytime.
Yeah, it's sort of the thing right now where they're just stuck. Around here, there's a lot of opportunities to overtake, but you don't want to, it's a lot of risky opportunities that you've got to try and get into to make that move. And right now, a 40-lap race, they're only on lap number 4 with 3 completed in the books. It's a one that you don't want to try and risk the move now. 78 litres of fuel will be on board from the green flag, so trying to make that stretch as long as you can. It can be done. Some people have tried to do it on 1 stop, so I wouldn't be surprised if someone does a 1 stop here today, but it's always going to be faster to do a 2-stopper here, as I think we've got a car coming in the pits. Jeff Gauci will be heading for the pit lane as the first pit, but I'm surprised that Cattell hasn't been dropped off. I know Cattell has been showing some great pace this year. He won at Motorsport.
Well, he did something wrong. He was running down towards the cutting here, as he does run down there and just locks his brakes straight across the racetrack. That's why he's coming into pit road, we think. That car was not happy. Just locked him straight across the grass, and that's really, that's probably why he's coming in now. He's really shredded those tyres.
Yeah, made a mistake going into the chase, locked the brakes, let off the brakes, and didn't want to spin the car, so he's come in the pits now. Looks like he had a little bit of left front damage, but he's going to continue on. Just having a look through the field now, it looks like everyone's pretty much spread out, which is expected around here at Bathurst, except for this top 4, separated away 1.3 seconds at the line. It is close, and I'm really surprised Rogers hasn't made a move, but like you're saying, he doesn't need to make a move, Rachel. He just needs to sit there with his teammate. They're not getting dropped from me and Ford. If they were, I think it wouldn't surprise me if Rogers or Sam Sutton try and push as hard as they can to make that gap, but at the moment they can just sit there, play the conservative card and wait and watch what Ford does.
Yeah, absolutely, of course. At this sort of stage, they're not being held up by him. They've got the driver there, Bo-Cattell, behind him, so he's not really catched them too much, but this front 4 have checked out. They've got 3 seconds on 5th place. So run together for a bit. The draft does help you on these big long straights, so being together as a 4 is beneficial. You don't really need to go crazy yet. Of course, you're not going to be able to save as much fuel if you do go in behind Ian Ford, so perhaps go a lap or 2 longer, blast a good clean in and out lap, so it could have, we've got a pass for the lead there. It's Sam Sutton.
Yeah, Sam Sutton making the move, and Rogers going to try and thread the needle. He's going to try and follow his teammate through. Ford runs on the grass there, side by side, coming into the final corner. Look at Bo-Cattell with the run. Don't make it 3 wide. Cattell, that's going to be chaotic down into the final corner, Murray's corner right now, and Ian Ford's been moved out wide, and he's going to go from 1st to 4th in all of a couple of corners. Looks like Cattell is going to try and push the issue down into held corner. No, he's not. He's going to drop in from behind. So the 2 TTL teammates of Sam Sutton, Josh Rogers, getting by Ian Ford, and have tried now to gap already. Sam Sutton is already got a good couple of car lengths over Rogers, and Rogers already got a couple over Ian Ford. So little mistake from Ian Ford, or I wouldn't really say a mistake, I'd just say Sam Sutton being in that draft was able to push through, and then Rogers tried to follow him through and got it done as well.
Yeah, we talked about careful strategy, and all of a sudden the door was opened and everyone decided they wanted a piece of Ian Ford, so he got mugged, his wallet was taken, and think his mobile phone as well. That was not what Ian Ford wanted to have happen. But Bo-Catel there looking to take a piece as well. I think he might still have a gold tooth in there somewhere, Bo, so go and have a go at that. But Ian Ford's gone from leading this race comfortably, a train of 4 cars who were pretty comfortable, to being in third and a little bit slower there as the Sutton and Rogers break away.
Yeah, Sutton and Rogers already starting to skip away out in front. Yeah, it just looks like Ian Ford not as settled as he would have liked to have been after that. Just got to get back in his rhythm. I think it unsettled him, especially coming through the chase when you have 2 cars trying to fire through you. You lose your points, you're trying to figure out where you are back into your position, and it looks like those leading 2 are going to give it a run for their money. Rogers very close into Forest Elbow. He was get the draft down the front straight, and that's the thing Ian Ford isn't going to benefit as much from now. He's a little bit behind than I would have thought from Rogers, and it may hurt him down the straight. It may give Bo-Catel more of a run. Let's see what Rogers does. Right up behind Sam Sutton, flat 6th gear coming into the chase. Not going to have a look, just going to sit behind his teammate. Doesn't need to put a lot of pressure on his teammate, as they'll definitely be talking and trying to skip away as a team instead of trying to get involved in a battle.
He certainly does, and well, we talked about before the sensible strategy. The teammates don't really need to fight because they are on the same team, so save it for later, you know. But as it stands, good gap there of about 1.1 seconds back to Ian Ford. So nice, respectable distance. Time to be comfortable. Planning a new strategy now for fuel, but looking a bit further back in this field, we've got some interesting little fights starting to form up. We've got David A. Moore and Adam Zettinger. Those 2 drivers are fighting for 5th and 6th position.
Yeah, Adam holding off David Moore at the moment. Moore was a couple of tenths quicker last time by, about 3 tenths, 207.9 from Adam to David Moore's 207.6. So Moore will be looking to try and get that move done and take that 5th place away from Adam, and they've got Mitchell McLeod behind them, who we know has the pace to run up inside the top 5 as well. Michael Cracknell's been dropped off a little bit down in P number 8, but these 2 definitely will start to form up and have a battle. I think Moore just doesn't look as strong through this early parts of the track. He may have a better car coming down the mountain, which is where he's gaining the speed, Rachel, because you want to set up your car, obviously, for certain sections of the track. If you can get a car to handle all the way around, you've got an amazing car, but it looks like Moore's just not as comfortable through the first section of the track and down the hill. We'll see now. I think he has a better car, a more stable car down the hill.
Certainly does, and Moore did a great job at the moment down the hill, as you just said. A car, well, it could be the driver more comfortable running down that hill. It's a very much a balls and bayonets approach to that section of the racetrack. You've got to be really quite brave coming down the mountain here at Bathurst, but as it stands, David A. Moore gets that done, and he gets right behind him, so could see a pass the next couple of laps. Looking a bit further back, my eyes there on, I believe that's David Baxter in the 18 car. He's sitting in 14th at the moment. He's got Michael, I'm going to try and pronounce this one, I apologise profusely, Michael Talianchi behind him. That's probably completely wrong, but I don't. Best I can do, sorry. Number 15 car behind him. Another battle run down there in the P15, P14 region. So, battling going on throughout this field. We've got most cars really now. Jake spreading out a bit, separating off as they try and just survive this 40-lap race here at the mountain. But still some awesome fighting at the front here. This gap has closed up though. Ford, Cattell, Rogers and Sutton, they've closed back up again. It was at one point between the teammates at the front and Ford, 1.1 seconds. Now it's under a second, so Fordy's back gaining.
Yeah, Ford in behind, obviously just got back into his rhythm after getting put out of place, as you'd say, just getting moved by the 2 TTL cars, taking their 1-2 at the moment. Now he's back in that rhythm, he's trying to charge down as hard as he can. Yeah, the thing about this, with this fuel strategy being limited to 78 litres, you're able to push those tyres a little bit harder than you would, say, in a 161 lap race with a full tank of fuel. You're trying to stretch the tyres out over a long distance, and in 43-degree heat, that's more of a tyre conservation stint. But at the moment, he is just pushing that car. Oh, as I think Bo-Catel, did he slap the wall there over the grate? I think he may have just kissed it. Looks like he's alright at the moment. Still travelling on quite nicely, but he may have just kissed the wall. Maybe just lost a mirror. That is usual around Bathurst.
Absolutely. If you keep both mirrors in your car for the entire race, that'll be quite the achievement here, of course. But I mean, these walls are so close to the track, Jake. This is, I don't think, unless obviously most of our viewers have driven around here in the iRacing service, but for those that haven't, this is a laser scan replica of Bathurst. This is what iRacing provides its viewers and its players, of course. Sorry, users of the simulation service. We don't call anyone gamers. We'll get very offended by that one. But of course, this is laser scan. This is exactly as tight as the real Bathurst is. And you know, if you're watching the real V8 Supercar races here at Bathurst, you know just how brave they are, because this is super tight there. As Ford actually is running down towards Murray's, is catching up now to your lead duo, so we could have another battle on our hands.
Yeah, it looks like he's got that car hooked up nicely in this sort of middle part of this stint, starting lap number 9 now, so 8 in the books, as Roger's just sitting behind Sam Sutton. Hasn't tried to pressure him, and we don't expect him to, being teammates. They're just going to sit up there. I think they were trying to skip away, but it hasn't really worked. But yeah, like you were saying, the track laser scan to 0.01 of a mils. It's minute difference that they have. It's perfect how they've got this track to be what it is. We can put this in language
that could be understood, Jake. That's less than the thickness of the wall of a beer can.
Exactly. Yeah. Less than that VB can that all these viewers will be drinking on a Monday night here in Australia. So definitely nothing in it compared to what it is in real life, and it just shows that one little mistake here, it can end your race. It does in real life, and it will today. You've got to be so close. You still got to push that car. You got to have those guts. You got to be just driving the car to its absolute limit. If you actually go under here, I feel like you make more mistakes if you're trying to drive to a number. You're trying to just underdrive the car. You have to be pushing it to that limit. If you go over it, obviously you end up in a fence. But it's so amazing how iRacing are able to get the tracks to their perfection. And I think this track, one of the best on the V8 schedule, one of the best in the world. There's a couple that come closer. Sam Sutton actually very defensive into Forest Elbow. Rogers runs wide. He nearly hit the fence at the exit of Forest Elbow. He's got a poor run coming down Conrod Straight, and look at Ian Ford now right behind the back of that TTL Commodore, TTL Falcon. That's not a Commodore. Get your eyes checked, Jake. And it looks like Ian Ford's going to go the long way around the chase. Flat stick. Oh, I think Ford had to lift there. He wasn't going to push the issue and just going to slot back in line. But Rogers, just a little mistake there, and it's hurt him at the moment. He lost a little bit of ground to his teammate in front, Rachel.
Certainly did, of course. That bad exit from Forest Elbow really cost him a little bit on the racetrack there. Certainly not what he wanted. But Ian Ford definitely trying to make a race back here. He wants to push back and win in his final race in this season. He's got the championship, but he wants to make a statement, of course, as a number 1 car would love to finish on the top step of the podium. We said he probably would before the start of the race. I think we jinxed it with the RaceSpot TV fashion, Jake. But it's a good run by him, of course. And Bocatel there, I'm loving how he's just holding back in 4th place. He's waiting for one of these top 3 here to make some sort of mistake. And I think before the end of this one, we'll definitely see that.
Yeah, I think there will be a mistake coming from one of these top 3. They'll be pushing as hard as they can. It wouldn't surprise me. Around here, one little mistake could be in the fence. Rogers was lucky to keep it out of the fence down at Forest Elbow after running a little bit wide. And yeah, I think Catel's the dark horse in this, actually. A little brake lot there from Rogers. He got it turned in nicely, though, at the cutting. But I think Catel is that little dark horse, just sitting there. He's not losing a lot of time to the leading pack. He doesn't need to push as hard as them. He can sort of sit in the draft, and as I say that, he's slowly starting to drop away as we come over the top of the hill now, coming into McPhillamy and Skyline. Just an amazing part of the circuit. Can't go on about how amazing this track is. We're started lap 10, so we're about a quarter distance, just to come up to a quarter distance of this race. We still haven't seen the first round of pit stops. They will be happening shortly, depending on what they are doing with strategy, but it wouldn't surprise me if these 2 TTL cars try and do something different to put them as an offset to Ian Ford and Bocatel behind.
Yeah, they certainly are, and it'd be a good idea now they're in the lead. They've got time to actually plan this one out and make some sort of decision, but I wouldn't box both cars at the same time. Of course, they've got their own separate pit boxes, but I'd probably separate this out, as we might have teammates going for a pass here, actually. At the front. No, they don't. They slot in line, but I'd break the strategy up. I'd run one lap, one the other one, just to cover Ford.
Yeah, maybe the better decision to run a little bit longer for one car, a little bit shorter for the next. They may be able to get about 15 laps out of a stint. So you'll be looking to, could come in around the end of this lap to do a alternate strategy, come in now run this stint and do 2 longer ones for your final 2 stints, but we'll see what happens. It's, like I was saying, just a quarter distance now done. Rogers still close to Sam Sutton in front, and Ian Ford and Cattell are still as a watching brief right now. The rest of the field just having a look. Looks like Adam Zenninger and David Moore pretty much have just been running at consistent lap times between the two of them. Not much, about a second separating them at the moment. And that's about it. Actually, I'm just going back to the lead. Rogers was right over the back of Sam Sutton coming through Griffin's Bend. Not close enough to have a look. You can throw it down the inside into the cutting. It has been done before. It's a little bit of a scary move to get done. You got to risk it to get it done. And some people have done it and paid off. Others have put themselves in the fence. I think it was Scott McLaughlin with Shane Van Gisbergen. I think it was last year or the year before, where Van Gisbergen had that move down the inside of McLaughlin and he ran into the fence. So that's a daring move, can be done, and see whether that happens today, Rachel. I think at the end there could be some daring moves to try and get that #1 on top of the podium.
I think there could be, but I think there are better places to try and pass than through the cutting. It's a little on the brave side, a little excessive, but I mean, off Forest Elbow is always a good spot to do it. You can run down Conrad, of course, and get the pass done into the chase. It's pretty much the standard passing spot at Bathurst, but you could do it approaching Skyline. That's another spot as well for the S's. That's a good place to do it before the dipper. You can close off and really make a break down the mountain, but also up into turn 2 is a good spot too, so it's going to be interesting to see what can happen. And as our director's just pointed out, Josh Rogers, he is faster than his teammate Sam Sutton, so could we see Sutton pulling into the pits early for his first stop, Jake, and perhaps releasing Josh Rogers to do a couple more laps and cover off Ian Ford behind?
Yeah, I'm surprised actually that they haven't swapped positions. I would have thought that they may have done that. Rogers does look visibly faster at the moment. Obviously Sam Sutton has got amazing pace. He's not a slouch at all, but I just think Rogers seems, as Rogers gets sideways coming out of turn 1, I think he just feels a little bit more comfortable at the moment and just may have been able to skip away, because Sam Sutton would have been able to use his draft to stick with him and they may have been able to pull away together, but at the moment they're just sitting there comfortably in 1 and 2. I wouldn't say comfortably, you're still scared to not hit a fence around here and bin the car as early as they are at the moment. But yeah, may see Sam Sutton come in a lap earlier than Rogers or a couple laps earlier and let Rogers have a little bit of clean air that he can push and try and build a gap. The hardest thing though with that is Sam Sutton will be on fresher tyres. He will obviously get an undercut compared to Rogers, and if they do that, Rogers could actually end up falling back behind Sam Sutton. So a little bit of strategy to be played there, and same with Ian Ford. Even if he comes in earlier than the two in front, tries to undercut them, it's a little bit of a game being played right now. I think everyone's trying to figure out where they're going to go with their strategy. Still a long way to go, but it's coming up to that point now. What strategy you're going to play and whether you try and bring it in now and just play a little bit of a card that others may not be around you seeing.
Yeah, certainly, and I think especially with a group of 4 here at the front, it's great to really make something happen here, make something a little different. You've got 2 stops, so you've got a little time to experiment on this first one. No one's going 1 stop here, so we know that is a thing. They have to make 2 stops, but when you make those stops can be critical, especially on the tyres here. So as we get teammates there making the pass, that's Josh Rogers at the inside for that kink, and he'll be on the outside here for the turn into the chase. Can't hold it in there in position, so he's going to try and make an undercut. It won't work. He has to hold it back in line until get the... maybe. No. Look to the outside line towards Murray, but can put a nose on the inside as Ford comes into the pits. He's the first to jump on strategy.
Yeah, first to jump on strategy. As these two were battling, he was closing in. I think that's a good move from Ford. He sees these two are starting to get a little bit racy up front. He's going to play that undercut at the end of lap 12, and this is where the 3 in front may actually have to follow Ford the next time round. Wouldn't be surprised if you see maybe Cattell come in and try and get that job done. But Sutton, I think that was a little bit cheeky from Rogers. They were fighting really hard. I was surprised Sutton didn't just let Rogers through into the chase and kept going on with it. So now we'll see what is going to happen here. We've got Rogers and Sutton is all over the back once again through Griffin's. let's see whether they try and skip away as well, Rachel. We've also got to forget they could be now just going to try and skip away from Cattell, but remember the pit stop strategy will be opening soon for them, and they may have to try and cover off Ford as well.
Yeah, David Moore's just been in as well. He's been into pit road himself, as we'll keep an eye on who else is looking at pit road at the moment. Well, a couple of cars, a couple lap down, but yeah, it's critical now. We have to see if Josh Rogers and Sam Sutton can actually get into pit road here. If they're smart, they will pit now. They'll have noticed Fordy going in behind him, so time to get those cars on pit road, cover him off, because he was starting to get faster again at the end there as they fought, so they keep fighting now. Ian Ford's going to come out ahead of them, no questions asked whatsoever, so especially for Sam Sutton, definitely time for him to come in and pit. His tyres definitely seem to have fared the worst.
Yeah, it looks like this. Oh, it's Cattell doing his usual thing, throwing it out sideways, coming down onto Conrad straight at the exit of Forest Elbow. But I think if these two keep fighting, like you're saying, Rachel, they're going to lose more time than what they already have. Rogers, like I was saying, skipping away already out in front. That's what they should have done earlier, and maybe pulled Sutton along with him. So we'll see whether Sutton or Rogers or Cattell, can't forget Cattell in this battle, may come in trying to cover off Ford. Ford has a good gap of air for these fresh tyres, and in comes Rogers. Sam Sutton stays out, Cattell stays out. So Rogers the next one to blink. He's going to try and cover off Ian Ford, and I think Sutton and Cattell will try and play a different strategy compared to the other two, and see whether they can get their strategy to work, doing a little bit longer first stint, maybe a shorter middle stint or a longer third stint. We'll see what they do when that comes to it. But Adam Zenninger stays out as well, and I think that's Michael Cracknell for SDC Motorsports comes in, as well as Richard Elwood. So a couple of guys blinking now as Ian Ford is just coming down under the Armour Ore Bridge, coming down into Murray's Corner now. So I think he may just be able to get out in front of Josh Rogers. We'll see.
Yeah, a bit of a bumpy pit entrance there for Crackers. I think he managed to hit every curb and possibly the pace car on that one, but he makes it in. As Josh Rogers leaves his pit box, fuel and tyres for that car. He will be leaving now, see what he can do in that Ford Falcon, as he'll get on the release track, and that's right behind, I believe. Yep, that's behind Ian Ford. Ford has jumped him in the pit cycle. Much quicker in and out lap for Ian Ford there. Wasn't fighting with his teammate. That's the difference it makes.
Yeah, that is the difference right there. Ian Ford played the undercut strategy to perfection. He's now gotten himself in front of Rogers, and Rogers was the effective leader at that point. So to put himself that far in front of Rogers, he's technically jumped everyone as well as Sam Sutton. So good move there from Ian Ford to come in, get that pit stop done. He will be continuing to push to open that gap to Rogers. And I don't know whether Sutton or Cattell will follow suit now. This long strategy may pay out for them. They'll lose time, obviously, as the tyres are getting more worn out in this latest stint with the track. That 43-degree track temp, the tyres will be feeling it around here. But just having a look through the field, most of the field completing their first stop, besides a couple of the lower down drivers at the moment. Mario Vlasic, Jeff Gauci is a lap down with Matt Jones as well there, with a lot of damage to those two cars. McLeod hasn't caught Adam Zenninger, which I thought may have happened, but David Moore did come in. Adam standing out another lap. So interesting seeing these guys going along as Mitchell McLeod pits.
Yep, McLeod is in, but Sutton not pitting. We've had a bit of discussion and argument, should we say, in the YouTube chat, of course, as everyone discusses whether Sutton and his teammate Rogers can actually save fuel. Well, it seems that Rogers may not have done, but it seems that Sutton might actually be able to. We'll see what happens, of course, but Sam Sutton holding the leader's motor race with Bo Cattell there. They're both not pitted in yet, so number 2 and number 3 leading this race with 16 of Adam Zettinger, who's not pitted either. Mitchell McLeod is on pit road, and so is Mario Vlasic. Ian Ford will be taking the 3rd spot in a moment. We'll have to see whether Sutton and Cattell come on to pit road now. But those cars are obviously lasting a lot better. Perhaps not saving fuel, but they're definitely saving their tyres and able to just run these cars a little better. Looking at, for example, Sam Sutton's lap chart here, Jake, he's gone from running 207s, 206s at the start, and he's still running 207s, 206s, low 207s, so his lap times really haven't changed.
No, lap times haven't changed at all for a lot of the field. He did have a 208.2, but that was with the battle with his teammates, so he lost a bit of time there. But overall, the pace has been high 6s to low 7s, which is very good consistency in this V8 Supercar, especially around Bathurst. That's what you want to have. Cattell is just dropping off a little bit to the back of Sam Sutton, but may be able to save fuel. You can do a one stop, but you are pushing the numbers to try and get that done. You, especially 43 track, may be able to do it because it's a bit hotter. You may not be using as much full throttle as other places when it's a bit cooler, where you can get on the gas a bit earlier, and that little bit that you will save in a hotter track temp may be able to help him do a stint, but it's not as fast as you'd think to try and do the one stop, as neither of them pit another time, Rachel. So that's interesting. They're pushing out this stint. They're going to run the cars out of fuel, and I think they will try and play an undercut in the last stint, where they'll have a shorter stint of about 10 laps, somewhere thereabouts.
And it could be a good one. I mean, if they short fuel for this middle stint, and perhaps they run a short middle stint and then pit early, get on that long final stint, or go for 2 stints now and a short final stint, like you said, that could really make things interesting for them. So keeping an eye on what will happen in this one. A couple of drivers still, well, who have pitted now, but because it's such a long lap, of course, Samuel's scoring has not cycled through. Of course, if you want timing, you can go to timing.racebot.tv. I think that's the right address, Jake.
Racebot.tv/timing.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah, we'll get it right eventually. Racebot.tv/timing. So you can go there and you can check out the live timing and scoring as it happens. And of course, great help provided to us by the likes of Nick Thyssen, who is the code monkey of the gods. So I like to him, of course, and everybody else. But speaking of laps of gods, Sam Sutton is still leading. It's not perhaps as fast as the lap of the gods, but it's up there at the moment. He's got no real challenges other than Bo Cattell. Cattell running in second place. Those two haven't pitted. Long strategy, Jake, we're talking about here, but as it stands, lap drop-off hasn't been significant, which we thought it could be in this hot weather. Track temp is very high. These guys, they haven't dropped off much, so we're not running really a full stint for these cars. Anyway, the fuel is limited, forcing these stops. Is it really going to be a matter of fuel saving or tyre saving?
Yeah, I'm very surprised with the longevity and times that they're getting out of these tyres at the moment. Obviously, the tyres are doing better than I expected, but I don't know, it's interesting strategy. Sam Sutton staying out once again, so he's going to go another lap, which is pushing that 17 lap mark. That's what I calculated before. Running full tilt, you'd be getting around about 17 laps to about 18, depending on if you were able to fuel save in a stint. So I think we may see the 2 leaders come in next time by, and they are actually losing a little bit of time to Ian Ford and Josh Rogers, who both punched out 2:06.1s the last time round. So they are on the hammer, and they are going. They're trying to gap the 2 in front when they do their pit cycle, as Matt Jones moves out of the way of the 2 effective race leaders. Actually, Rogers made a mistake into Murray's corner, locked the left inside front, ran a bit wide, lost a little bit of time to Ford, but he's still in that draft and still can apply pressure, Rachel. And a little bit of pressure around here, you can crack, and as soon as you crack, it could be in the fence, and that would be game over.
Absolutely, and once you get out the rhythm at a track like Bathurst, it's all over. This is definitely more of a driver's track than a car's track, so of course beyond a certain amount of setup work on the car, this is down to the guy behind the wheel. It's really a tough place. It requires a lot of bravery, a lot of confidence and practice, so this is down to the guys sitting there behind this wheel in this car. They are the ones controlling this race, and if they get psychologically beaten by this track, if they get unsettled by someone, have flow breaks, you're done. This place will eat you alive, and it completely relies on just focus and flow and rhythm. But you know, once that goes, and even the distance Bo Cattell is behind Sam Sutton, that could be completely changed. Same with Rogers behind Ian Ford. He can worry him into a mistake, and that's critical at Bathurst.
Yeah, that's the critical point that makes this track so exciting. Anything can happen, anything can change, and we've seen it before where Ian Ford got passed by both the 2 TTL cars coming down into the chase where Sam Sutton and Bo Cattell are now, and it unsettled him for a lap or 2 before he was able to get back in rhythm and go. So in comes Sam Sutton, like I was thinking, and Cattell running another lap, so a little bit more fuel saving going on for Sam Sutton. He's going to push, Bo Cattell as Sam Sutton comes in. He's going to try and push to the end of lap 18 to come in. So Sam Sutton will have lost a little bit of time to Ian Ford and Rogers, who are right now coming into the chase. I think he will drop in about a couple of seconds behind, and he'll have those fresher boots on to try and push as hard as he can. But it sort of opens up the window for Sutton, Rachel, to be able to do what he wants to do with his next stint. As I think I have lost Rachel, which I have. So
you've not lost me. I was muted because I was typing and my keyboard is very loud. So we've got Sutton on pit road. Cattell stayed out. That's surprising, but we'll obviously see what happens to him. He might be trying to save fuel in the long game here. We don't know how much he saved in the draft behind the top 3 earlier on, so it could be a thing. But Ford and Rogers definitely way out ahead of Sutton. That is quite the gap. He's come out down, I believe, in about maybe 6th place. So 5th place. He's in 5th place at the moment, so that's quite a distance back.
He's actually come out behind David Moore, who was a fair way behind them before the pit stop cycle begun. And I wouldn't be surprised if Sam Sutton actually got a speeding penalty. I'm going to have a look at this because he was there a very long time, longer than I was expecting to do. So I think he may have got a penalty. I'm unsure, but he was there
Speeding
a long time, obviously.
Yeah, speeding on entry. If he's been sat in the pit box a long time and isn't coming back in, that would suggest he did speed on to pit road. So carrying a little too much speed there as he tries to get past the car of David Moore over the mountain, which is a tricky spot for it to happen. But yeah, that 31-second pit stop would suggest he had a penalty going on to pit road. That's 10 seconds longer than Ford. Yeah, that could be it.
Yeah, he may have. I just had a look back and it looked like it was pretty good on pit road, so I don't think he actually may have got a speeding penalty. It could also be the undercut with the fuel. Obviously, he's ran about another 6 or so laps longer at around about a 4.4 litre burn per lap around here. That's a lot of fuel, but that has to go back in. So we'll see when the timing updates whether he's around about that 10-second difference behind the leaders, because that's where that will come in later on. But I don't think he would have wanted to be stuck behind David Moore, as Bocatel is in the pit lane. He's going to get his service, so he will come out around about Sam Sutton, as Sutton having a look into the chase on David Moore, and he's got that job done, or has he? Moore's going to hold it tight, coming through the right-hander, coming down into Murray's corner, but it looks like Sam Sutton has just skipped ahead. Will Moore have a look on the left side? No, he won't. He's going to stick in behind Sam Sutton and try and push on from here. We'll see the gap as he comes across the line compared to the two in front. He's about 13 seconds behind Ian Ford, so he's lost a little bit more time than you would have expected, and Cattell coming out of the pits right now, and he's going to drop maybe even behind Adam Sleddinger coming out of the pits. I think the Ford Falcon may have a run. They're going to do a swap on Mountain Straight. And let's see whether Adam's going to wrap him up around the outside in the Ford Falcon. Holden versus Ford down the long straight of Mountain Straight here, as the car on the inside would have unsettled Cattell, and it looks like Adam has got that job done as well. So Cattell in a bit of traffic here compared to who he's battling, and that could hurt him, Rachel. Trying to play that different strategy card could hurt him in the longevity of it.
It certainly could, but quite interesting to see just how far back Cattell has come out in this one. Really kind of surprised here. This is a similar sort of length of pit stop as we saw from Sutton, so perhaps not a penalty. Did these guys perhaps take on more fuel for this stop?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Taking that little bit longer laps, staying out there a little bit longer, they would have had to put more fuel in to get the cars back up to the full 78-litre tank that they've got in them at the moment. So that would be where that time has come in, but just struggling now, Cattell, to find a way past Adam. He can't make a move coming through the S's and the dipper. You got to sort of say single file. He may have a look going into Forest Elbow. He sticks the nose out, not able to get the job done. Will follow suit down Conrod Straight. He should be able to get the draft and have a look going into the chase. He's right underneath that rear wing of the Ford Falcon. Let's see if he pulls out to the driver's right, and he does that. Coming down the long straight, flat out down Conrod. It will be 6th gear. Oh, they're very close. Coming into the chase. Adam lifts early, gives the spot to Bocatel. That's another pass for him to move up into P number 5. So we'll see what this does now with Cattell, he'll be pushing hard with these fresh tyres, but he's still going to go around David Moore, which Sam Sutton's already done, and he's already opened up a good couple of seconds on Moore, so he's using those fresh tyres, but he's 14 seconds behind Ford and Rogers. He's definitely going to have to play a bit of strategy to try and make that up.
He is, of course, and longer stops for himself and Sutton, so we're going to see those two fighting fairly shortly, we think, so of course he's got to deal with David Moore first. He'll try and get around him. Put the front, Ian Ford having a good race. He's a huge gap back. It's 6 tenths of a second to Josh Rogers in second place. So he's one of those teammates still up there fighting with the leader. Ford was pretty good in the first part of the run, of course. Jay, we knew that. So perhaps later on we would expect him to drop off a little bit here, and Josh Rogers might make that pass for the lead. So it's going to be critical in the end of a stint if Ford can't keep that car running at full pace later on. What does this say for him?
Yeah, let's see what he's going to do, whether he's going to be able to keep this speed up for the entire second half of this race. He's going to be pushing as hard as he can, actually, as Rogers is right behind him, coming into Forest Elbow. We may stick with this, coming out of Forest Elbow, coming down Conrod Straight. Josh Rogers much closer than he has been in the past couple of laps. He may be able to have a look going into the chase, or if he's going to stick behind him for another lap. Looks like he's just struggling on straight line speed at the moment, even if the draft not close enough. He's there or thereabouts. Will he throw it down the inside? No, he doesn't. So he's just going to sit in behind and wait for another lap as we come up to complete lap number 20. We'll be halfway in the books. Don't know whether he's going to have a look. Here we go. Rogers having a look down into Murray's corner. He's going to try and get the job done. Ford's going to hold it tough around the outside halfway as they cross the line now. Ian Ford holding it tough around the outside, coming into Hell Corner. Rogers still there on the inside. Ian Ford gives it up and is going to move Rogers up into P1. He's actually going to get the better drive, Rachel. He may be able to have a look going into Griffin's Bend here and have another attack.
Certainly is. It could be a good chance for a move here, of course, as he'll be side by side there, running up towards Griffin's, as who will have the line. It's Rogers on the inside. He has it nice and sorted. There is a bit of a wiggle from Ian Ford there at the back, as that nearly came around on him, but that position has been exchanged, and move Josh K. Rogers up to the top spot.
Yeah, moving up to the top spot as Bo Cattell just got past David Moore, so move him up into P number 4. Pretty easy job done up into Griffin's Bend. And I think while we have a break in all the action, we'll catch a commercial break here and play some little bit of a commercial, and we'll see what happens at halfway here for the official V8 Supercar Championship Series. Round number 12 here at Bathurst. We are halfway of what is a 40-lap race here, and certainly the second half is going to liven up when we come back.
For iRacing to get Le Mans is huge. I mean, this is a unique event, a unique track where, half of the track is public road, so you can never test on it, you never get experience on it, and it's 8 miles in length, 4-minute lap time in a GT car. So, even if you're here for an hour of testing, that's only 15 laps, and you're only going to see the corner 15 times that day. The first section going through the Dunlop area is pretty unique. It's got elevation change and off camber. Then you go down Mulsanne into the chicanes, and the straights are unbelievably long. It's a tricky track, and every year I've come here, this being my 4th year, you learn something new every time.
We've wanted to add Le Mans to iRacing for a long time, and we've really been working hard towards it for the last 5 years. But really, things only came together in the last week leading up to this race, so it was a real scramble to put everything together. The majority of Le Mans is public roads. So when they're preparing for the 24-hour race, it's really the only time that we can visit to laser scan and photograph the track so that we can recreate it in iRacing. We work closely with the ACO to get essentially exclusive access to the facility and everything that we needed to get the laser scanning and photographic reference that we need to create the track. We were very fortunate to be at Le Mans at the most important time of the year and gain that experience of being there. And we're going to really do the best we can to put that into our work and making sure that the Le Mans in iRacing is the best Le Mans, the most exciting and accurate recreation of the track possible.
Welcome back. We are live here from the final round of the official V8 Supercar Championship Series at Mount Panorama, Bathurst. Josh Rogers right now in the lead after lap number 22. Ian Ford in second, Sam Sutton in third, with Bogatel just dropping off a little bit in P number 4 after the first round of pit stops. Long way to go still in this one. Just completing that lap number 22. Rogers was able to skip away now. He has about a 1 second lead over Ian Ford. Once he got that move done, he's trying to stretch those legs of that hyper stimulator Ford Falcon for TTL, and he's just putting a little bit of pressure on Ian Ford to try and keep that gap there or thereabouts. And Sutton now has dropped the gap to about 12 seconds to the lead, which is around his extra little bit of pit time that he spent on pit road to get full of fuel as he actually goes past Josh Burden, who letting the field through, as well as Bogatel. Burden having a little bit of an unlucky race as Moore has dropped behind Adam Zettinger now, as he has on fresher tyres pushing as hard as he can to try and keep up with Gattel in front. But Rachel, that gap has now opened up between the top two. And I think that's just where Rogers is now trying to find his feet and make the most that he can in this middle stint.
Certainly is. I'm looking at these times though by Sutton and Cattell. Great lap times by those two. They're actually closing that gap up now. It's actually come up to about 14 and 12 seconds behind the leaders, so not completely over yet. Strategy-wise, they might have something here if they're taking a bit more fuel in that middle stint, so might see what these two have got in the bag. But Rogers, well, he has broken that gap. He said 1 minute ago, 1 second. So, as you said, Ford just hasn't quite got it here in the second half of the stint.
Yeah, just hasn't got that pace. May have done a tyre pressure adjustment in the stop that hasn't helped him, as we're looking at a replay of David Moore's off that he had, but he's back on the track now and still going. Just had a little mistake and cost him some time, obviously dropping that spot to Adam Zettinger, who has now moved himself up into P number 5. He's trying to chase down the leaders and just put David Moore in a little bit of a gap right now, all on his lonesome. He's got Michael Cracknell and Mitchell McLeod, who aren't really challenging him for any position right now at the minute, but just having a look now, the gap actually out in front has dropped to half a second. I think there may have been a little error from Josh Rogers. Just actually he made a brake lock going into Murray's corner, and he lost a little bit of time, but it looks like he's Ian Ford may have been able to pick up the pace, Rachel, going against what we just said, maybe struggling on this tyre set. A little mistake from Rogers, and it's brought him right back into it.
And he has. It's over a second, half a second faster that time by, but we've got lap traffic that could play a factor soon. We know how hard it is to pass over the mountain, and they're catching Mark Bright pretty quickly here, so this could play into the hands of Ian Ford. Yeah,
if Rogers picks Mark Bright at the worst possible moment, it looks like he may coming over Reed Park down into Solomon right now over the great lovely part of the track, using all of the road up against the fence as he actually Mark Bright moves over just before McPhillamy and Skyline. So good job by the lap traffic of Mark Bright to move out of the way and give these two a clean run going down through the S's now. And Ian Ford's actually lost some time, may have got caught out by that lap traffic, may have just thrown him off a little bit, Rachel, and it just looks like that little bit of a gap again is starting to form. I don't know who has the better pace at the moment. They're very even, and may just fall to the wayside depending on their final strategy. And Sam Sutton is coming like a truck at the moment. He has now dropped that gap to 11.3 seconds, so he is definitely moving in third place.
Yeah, he certainly is, and well, it looks like Josh Rogers' last lap was a bit of just a mistake, so he's back on his pace as he was, but Ian Ford is definitely closing that gap in there, very late breaking there into the chase as he really closes back up behind Josh Rogers. That gap shrinking always. Sam Sutton, no, he's arriving at the chase now, so not too far behind. Reed Cottrell really hasn't made it up. Oh, leaders in to pit road. This is a second stop for both of them.
Oh, both of them very late on the brakes. They're side by side coming down in the fast lane. Where's the penalty, guys? As they're side by side in the fast lane, they're both going to be moving. They're going to push each other out, move them over. Let's see, they're both into their box now. So as Ian Ford and Sam Sutton and Bo Cattell both continue out there on the track. I don't know who's going to try and underfuel here. He's going to put a little bit less fuel for this final stint. They come in on the end of lap 24. They will be able to make it from the end, from here to the end. And Ian Ford actually has jumped Josh Rogers in the stop. So he has gotten out in front of the TTL driver. They're out in clean air. This battle will resume right now, and it's going to be on coming down into Griffin's Bed. I wouldn't be surprised if Rogers has a little bit of look. Even on cold tyres, you can just throw it down the inside. Actually, Ian Ford goes a little bit defensive, and Rogers has a look, thinks about it. He threw the nose there. Good late break there from Ian Ford to just defend that position, but these two are on already, just coming out of the pit stops on fresh tyres.
Yeah, great pit stops there. Ian Ford, he pushed that to the absolute limit there. He had every second he could in the pit road. One of the strategies a lot of these guys use, especially in the cars with pit road limits, Jake, is that, as we see in there, Josh Rogers right behind Ian Ford with the mountain, not letting him have any room. A lot of these cars with pit limiters, the limiter does hold you a little bit below the actual pit speed limit, and play those timing lines, you can have a mile an hour or two on pit road itself between the markers. So, Ian Ford there, he had his pit limiter off along pit road, and he was just goosing that throttle a few miles an hour over the limit between the timing lines, and that's how he actually managed to pass Josh Rogers actually on pit road there. So incredible strategy by Ian Ford and finesse with that right foot, but yeah, he's got the lead back here, and it's not a big gap.
Yeah, it's not a big gap at all, but yeah, a little bit of strategy play there from Ian Ford in another sense, not putting the pit limiter on, just trying to maximise as much speed as he can, and he's done a good job of that at the moment, taking over provisional race lead as Bo Cattell follow suit comes in now. He will have less fuel to put in the car. Rogers and Ian Ford, they're still close battling right now coming out of the chase as Bo Cattell trundles down pit road, and Rogers having a look into Murray's corner, and he's going to throw it down the inside. He's going to get the job done, pushes Ian Ford a little bit out wide. He made that tough as he could get that job done. Cattell is still on pit road. They're going to get that stop done now, and out he comes. He's gained a little bit more time, but what a move there from Rogers, using all the road and a little bit more to make it stick.
That was absolutely optimistic. His rear quarter panel saying, no, Mr. Ford, you're not coming through here. I want this line. That was a big move there by Josh Rogers coming through there, through Murray corner. What a move. And he does get the lead early in this stint, so this could be a sign for later on. The replay there actually for the pit entry in a moment, showing just how Ian Ford got through on Rogers, but Rogers back in the lead now, so this one is not done yet. As draft for Ian Ford, he's going to try and make a move into Griffin Bend. Have a look, but no, he will keep that nose back as those guys, they're pushing so hard now. Trying to find the lap times for these guys for this time by. This is really close.
Yeah, they are pushing as hard as these V8 Supercars will go. That little gain that Ian Ford made on pit entry, the little mistake actually from Rogers running a bit wide on the grass, but he gathered it up, and Ian Ford made the time up down pit road, and Rogers getting that spot, aggressively going down into Murray's corner, got the job done. Now heads effectively the field once the pit stop cycle comes through, and Cattell isn't as far back as I would have expected. He's still there or thereabouts. Obviously has one lap fresher tyres as Sutton from the lead comes in. So Let's see where Sutton slots in. I think he's going to slot in right in the middle of that battle between Rogers and Ford. If he can get on pit road, he has. He's done that quite nicely as well. So this could be a little bit of an interesting play here, Rachel, where Rogers and Ford could have a car just get slotted straight in the guts and mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, this will certainly make it interesting, especially for Rogers to have his teammates around. This could be very interesting to see what happens as, yeah, Sam Sutton now on pit road. He's definitely made up a lot of time in this intervening while, and with Ford and Rogers fighting so hard here, Sutton might actually be back in this one, as you just said, so looking like it could be an exciting end to this race. We're on lap 27 here, going on to lap 20, or this is 27 now, so it's about 13, 14 laps to go, so it's going to be really exciting to see what can happen in the last while.
Yeah, still a long way to go for this race, the final stint. Sutton actually lost ground. A lot of ground is actually... Oh, it's just going back to the cameras and having a look
past
on
him.
Yeah, Cattell has actually made it past Sam Sutton, so Sutton's lost a lot of ground in that final stop. I think he may have actually put a full tank of fuel in at the end, where he would have actually had to run a little bit less fuel for the final stop. So we lost ground to Cattell and obviously the lead bunch, where I thought he may have dropped in between the two, but he hasn't. Ian Ford has closed right up on the back of Josh Rogers, and these two have had a history of getting together and fighting tooth and nail, and I don't think it's going to end here for the final round. It's going to be on all the way to the final stop. And just having a look at those pit times for the final time, 20.2 from Josh Rogers, 20.1 for Ian Ford. Obviously 10 seconds faster for Bo Cattell with a 10 second flat pit stop, but 13.6 from Bo Cattell, so that sorry, for Sam Sutton. So I'm thinking, Rachel, he may have put a little bit more fuel than what he actually needed compared to that of Bo Cattell, because he actually came in 1 lap later, so he would have had to have 4 litres less, so he should have actually had a quicker stop in comparison to Cattell and obviously the leading.
Yeah, certainly a big difference there for them. I want to see what can happen with this one, but well done by them, and it's going to be exciting to see what can happen for this one. Really looking forward to seeing how this one will wind up, but just keep an eye on Rogers. He's really gapping forward now, so let's see if he can make no more mistakes. He might be in a position to actually push forwards.
Yeah, as he makes a little brake lock again. We've seen a lot of that coming into Murray's corner. That corner just downhill, you can easily lock that left front, but I've seen it a lot today, which is uncharacteristic. A lot of guys pushing as hard as they can, which is expected around here, especially for Rogers in front. But Ian Ford right there, Cattell using all the road and a little bit of the grass as usual on the exit of Hill Corner, coming down Mountain Straight. And Ian Ford is there or thereabouts. He is going to maybe have a look going into Griffin's. Not close enough though. He was sitting behind, running up through the hill right now, the start of the run. They'll come up to the cutting turn 3 and 4. And not a passing opportunity here. Can have it. Very risky. May see that on the last lap if they are this close. But lap 28, still 13 laps to go around this marvellous circuit, and I don't think it's gonna be over till that last lap, Rachel. We've seen a lot of battles in real life not coming down after 161 laps to the final straight and the door-to-door, trying to get that lead and that top step, that Peter Brock trophy. It wouldn't surprise me if it comes down to a last lap pass once again here.
Oh, absolutely. The way these two are fighting, this gap is really closing up. Sam Sutton's 4 seconds back from your leaders, Bo Cattell's 2. So they are visually catching your leaders from being about 15 seconds, 30 seconds back after that first stop. They are both catching. This is going to become a 4-way fight now, as Rogers and Ford are definitely holding each other up here, fighting. So these lap times dropping off as Cattell and Sutton have clean track to catch. They're both running low times there, so looking good for them, especially the guy in the freshest tyres is Sam Sutton. They're not far away, so this one could become an epic finish.
Yeah, we could have 4 cars battling for this win here. And to finish off what has been a tremendous season, is Ian Ford having a look in the chase. He's late on the brakes. He's on the inside. He's managed to get it turned in, used a lot of the entry curb, but wasn't able to get the drive out of the corner as Rogers able to hold that position coming down into Murray's now not close enough from Ian Ford. But yeah, like you were saying, Rachel, if these two keep battling out in front, holding each other up, Bo Cattell is visibly closer now. The gap is, he's 1.1 seconds behind the lead of this race. Bo Cattell is coming, and 4 seconds back from the lead is Sam Sutton. And if these two continue as they go up mountain straight, Rogers already on the defense. He's holding that inside white line, and he's just going to run along it like a tram track. He's not going to let go of it. He's going to force Ian Ford to go the long way round into Griffin's, and they are pushing each other to the limit. They're trying to not give each other any room.
Oh, he's made a
Ian Ford
mistake.
actually gets out in the marbles. Bocatel sideways coming out of Griffin's, and it looks like he's going to be able to hold on Ian Ford on the inside coming into the cutting, and this is letting Rogers skip away out in front. If Cattell can hold on to this, he may be able to grab P2, and he does it. Good job there from Bocatel. He's taken P2 with the fresher tyres, and now he is going to chase down Josh Rogers, who has now got over a 1 second gap, and that could be all he needed to try and take this victory by the scruff of the neck.
Oh, this is incredible racing here in the V8 Supercar Official Series, the final round of the championship. Oh, big mistake!
Oh, Cattell's in the fence!
He's in the wall! Bocatel is out of this one. That car wobbled and slammed. We're trying to get a replay for you. Ford made it through there without any error. His car is okay. Cattell's collected it up, but he's probably going to have damage. And get a replay of what happened here. He just got on the exit curbing there. As he runs down towards Skyline, on the curbs, turn inside, hit the wall, flat on, wobble, turn, hit the quarter panel again, and big mistake there for Bocatel.
Yeah, massive mistake there from Capel, just taking P2, getting on that curb over Skyline, and that was it. That was all that happens. And that, it's unlucky for Cattell. He just made that marvellous move around after the cutting, and to have that happen, that's what happens at Bathurst. It can bite, and it can bite hard. Cattell just taking P2 away, and Bathurst once again taking it away from someone. This time it was unfortunate for Bocatel, and as that has all occurred, as Cattell actually comes in, so it wouldn't surprise me if he has a meatball for too much damage on that car. Yeah, it's actually let Rogers 1.3 second gap now. It's gutting. It sucks. is a good way to get into 30 laps of this race, 3/4 distance, battling for the lead, playing your strategy to perfection, and just having Bathurst just take it away from you as you take P2. It sucks for Cattell. That could have been his second victory of the season, because he was pushing as hard as he could, and that's what you have to do to try and take this win, and Bathurst took it away. And definitely not over out in front. Rogers got away after that little mistake there from Cattell, but Ian Ford's closing in this next time, and Sutton's only 3 seconds away from this lead, so I think it could be a 3-car battle for the lead soon, Rachel, and it wouldn't surprise me if another car bites the dust in these later stages.
Oh, absolutely. Someone's going to make a mistake here, but got to give it to Bocatel. That pass from Griffin Bend, with he got Ian Ford out on the marbles. Ford just didn't have the traction, and the pass through Castrol cutting was incredible. Bocatel with a brave gutsy move there. Just unfortunate, pushing a little too hard later on as he got to Skyline. Big well, he must be absolutely gutted from that one, but Bocatel, not what he wanted to have happen. That car is sitting on pit road. He's done for now. Josh Rogers there up front. He's 1.3 seconds ahead of Ford, where he was last time by. And Sutton, well, he's coming into the range now. He's got the freshest tyres in the bunch here, of course, Jake. You've got to remember that. He's on the freshest tyres now. He's really wound in that gap. He's catching them. There is more lap traffic ahead of them, so this one is far from over, as we're going to be hitting that 10 to go mark this time by.
Yeah, coming up to under 10 laps to go, the final quarter of this race here. It's going to be on those fresh tyres from Sam Sutton, helping him close it, and that gap has definitely closed up out in front. It's now 0.4 of a second as they cross, and 2 seconds back is Sam Sutton, so it could be a replay of Bocatel catching up to them. Hopefully it's not a replay of an accident again, but we'll see what happens. But Ian Ford very close again to the back of Rogers. They've got a car in front of him, Mark Bright, again being lap traffic at the moment. That could play into Ian Ford's hand over the top, and Ian Ford having an aggressive look down into Griffin's Bend. Wasn't close enough, pardon me, to be able to throw it down the inside, but if these two start battling again, which is inevitable, I think it's going to bring Sam Sutton right into this, and with those fresher tyres, I think he might get both of them, and it wouldn't surprise me if Rogers and Sutton have a good fight as that lap traffic. Yeah, that was a daring move, but hopefully...
Oh, he's in the way. Oh my gosh, incredibly tight there. Mark Bright was, well, went out of the way last time by, but this time just caught in the wrong place there. And that definitely impeded Sutton, but he's still in a good position here. He's still got a chance to catch these two. Plenty of laps to go, and Ford is going to be nervous now. He's got those two TTL teammates that are closing in around him, so he's going to be in a yellow car sandwich here. And he is not going to enjoy being the meat in this one.
No, I don't think he will enjoy this, being in the TTL sandwich. Different manufacturers too, a Holden and a Ford. He's got to try and chase down a Ford with a Holden, closing in right behind him. Don't know whether he's dropped off a little bit this lap, but I don't know whether he actually got any damage from that Cattell hit. I just had a look at it back before, and he may have caught the back of Cattell a little bit after he hit the fence the first time.
Right. I think he managed to escape past.
He may have just escaped that and got away with it, so hopefully he did and he's able to fight, especially with the pace that he's running. I think he would have.
Car looks alright, Jake, so I think he is fine.
Yeah, I think the car looks alright. Just looks a little bit dented on the left front on mine, but he may be okay to get away with it. And the gap is by half a second. A little bit of time lost from Sam Sutton. That doesn't surprise me with Mark Bright just catching the lead trio in a way in the worst spot possible, coming out of the cutting into Reed Park and Solomon. It's just the worst spot to try and get around a lap car, but it looks like he did a good job and to get out of the way of this leading bunch. But looks like Ian Ford not close enough this time to have a look at Griffins, and I think this is going to come down to the last lap pass. I think it could be Sutton in the dark, in the little bit of a dark horse position right now, Rachel, to maybe take that lead away and the win from these two in front.
Completely agree. I think he's got the best tyres to make a last lap lunge here, and I think he's the one that could really make this happen. It's in his hands, really. He's got much fresher tyres than Ford and Rogers. Those two, they've been battling hard for it all whole race, and Sutton has got the freshest tyres on his final stint, so if anyone can make a lunge and make it stick, I think it is Sam Sutton. And I think Rogers would rather his teammate won than Ford. So Ford's already won the championship. He's got not as much to prove here at the mountain than the two TTL cars, who definitely have something to prove. They want to make a statement.
Yeah, they want to leave this season too with the last win here in the old car. We've got to remember the new build coming next season is going to completely change this V8 Supercar, and you want to be the one that won the last race for the old build. You want to take that one. So even Ford's already taken the title, so can Rogers or Sam Sutton take it? And I think we have lost Mitchell McLeod, who was involved, I think, in an incident, and he's lost out. He was just gotten past Adam Zettinger for P4, but he made a mistake into the chase and then pitted and has got the car parked up after that one. So unlucky for McLeod, was running inside the top 5, but this gap out in front, it's ever closing between the three of them. I don't know who would you put your money on right here, Rachel? I think I'd definitely put my money on Sam Sutton, as it's now 1.5 seconds to the lead.
Oh, certainly 1.5 seconds. I think it's definitely in the hands here of Sam Sutton. I watched another Sutton racing yesterday in the MSA British Touring Car Series. That was Ash Sutton, and fantastic drive from the MG driver there. We'll see what another Sutton can do in this one. The number 2 car, of course. He is, we've got Ford making a move on the outside here. Defensive Rogers. Ford going to the outside for Griffin Bend. Can he do it? Will he get held out again? Bit of a bobble. He's lost a little bit of time, and here comes Sam Sutton with momentum.
Yeah, here goes Sam Sutton once again. Had that momentum running into Griffin's Bend. He is right underneath the back of that Evolution Racing Australia rear wing of Ian Ford. He is here. He is in this battle. It's now a 3-car fight for the lead for the final round here of the official V8 Supercar Championship Series. And I don't know what's going to happen at the end of this one. I think it's going to end in carnage. I can put money on someone hitting the fence at the end of this one. I'm not going to commentate and curse it, because I think everyone's going to be pushing on that.
Let's just not go on board with anybody, and we might be okay. The race curse needs to be put to bed, so we're not going on board with any of your 3 leaders in these final laps, because we want them all to finish.
Yeah, that's right. We want everyone to get to the end. We want this to be a dogfight between these 3 out in front, and the gap is opening for Rogers. Rogers has pushed that gap open with Ian Ford trying to take that position around the outside around Griffin's Bend. It's lost some time. He knew he had to sit in there but he's done a good job, as Hugo Luis, our director, is just saying that Ford may have scraped the walls a little bit over the top of the mountain, so he may have picked up some damage there, but he's still holding the pace, and that may have been what dropped off the back. May have just lost a mirror up the top of the mountain. If you find a yellow mirror, you can keep it. It's up on the top of the hill somewhere off the Holden Commodore. It's up there, and we don't need it anymore. It'll stay up there for the rest of this one. And wouldn't be surprised if the rest of those panels don't stick with any of these 3 cars after it. And the gap now is under a second between the top 3. It is on, Rachel, and it's going to come down to who's just going to throw it and get it.
Well, at the moment, it's closer between Ford and Sutton, as Sutton is on a charge here. Ian Ford's dropped back a little bit from Josh Rogers at the front, so this one definitely in the hands of his teammate in that number 2 car. He is closing in like a shark on the back of Ian Ford. He's coming for him, and we might see someone take a bite at the top of the mountain the way this is looking. We could also see a lunge into the chase, his favourite passing spot here, really, going down to that big braking zone here. But look at this. Look at how close these guys are. This is wheel-to-wheel V8 Supercar racing. What a finale we're going to have for the last race of the season, the last race of this present build of the car. These guys are sending this one out in style.
Oh, wow, I wouldn't be surprised if Ian Ford hit the fence. I think the same position as Greg Murphy did a couple of years ago in the Holden Racing Team Commodore. It was mighty close there, coming over Reed Park. And Sam Sutton had a look actually into the cutting. I thought he was going to make the move, but he thought better of it, just sat in behind him. And it's just so close at the moment. They're pushing the limit of these cars out in front. The last race of this build, the last race of the season, and they're putting it on a pedestal right now. They are showing what V8 Supercar racing is all about, and they are going to push mighty hard right now. Rogers is still gapping him. The hardest thing right now for Sam Sutton to try and benefit from a draft, especially down Conrod and Mountain Straight, is that Ian Ford also has a draft, and that doesn't help the preceding car to be able to try and get a move done. He doesn't have that speed benefit that you would if you were leading and just being 1 car behind without a draft. So I think that may hurt Sam Sutton a little bit, but he is not going to back out of this one as Ian Ford closing up into Murray's. They're definitely having this accordion effect where over the top they're sort of spreading out and then closing back up as they come down to the base of the hill. Starting lap 35, sorry, not lap 5, otherwise we've just done an hour worth of racing and nothing happened. So we are starting lap 35, 6 laps to go here at Bathurst, and it's going to be a thrilling finish.
Oh, it certainly is. These guys are on top of each other. Rogers, Ford and Sutton absolutely on it here. Ford got a bit of a run on Rogers. Will he take a look into Griffin? He's not going to do it yet. Oh, he's right on his rear wing there. So close there. That number 1 even race the Australia car. Bit of a wiggle looking inside towards the cutscene. No, don't be silly. Come on. Ford as he takes another look here. These 3 all over each other now. It's definitely in Sutton. Sutton is the one actually having to run slower than he'd like here. He wants to try and find a way past Ford. It's probably going to be down to Conrad this time by. If he could stick close enough out of course, Forest Elbow, has to get a critical run there, but this is so tight now, Jake.
Yeah, it is, and actually Rogers, he made a mistake coming out of Griffin's, got sideways. He did bob into cuttings, but he ran a little bit wide, but he's I think he's struggling with the tyre set at the moment. Ian Ford and Rogers both came in on the same lap. Sam Sutton, I think, was 2 laps later. So Sam Sutton definitely has those fresher tyres, and like you were saying, Rachel, not running the pace he wants to run as he very deep into Forest Elbow. He's ran wide and he's lost some time. I wouldn't be surprised if he's lost a fair chunk of time. He'll still be in the draft, but I think that could have just let the pressure off Ian Ford for a couple of laps. Makes him he can now focus in front of him instead of watching his mirror and in front at the same time. He may be able to have a crack at Rogers coming down into the chase. Flat out 6 gear. It's an awesome part of the track. You're down into second, short shift to third as you come down now under the Armorial Bridge to come into the final corner, Murray's Corner here. Lovely part of the track. And I think, actually Rogers locked the brake again into the final corner, ran a bit wide, and Ford looking to the inside on the front straight. He is there pushing as hard as they can. the gap's opened up because of Sam Sutton's little mistake. It's just 1 second now between the top three.
This will help him.
Yeah.
He's got a bit of a gap now, so he gets to build his own momentum without having to slow down for Ford. By the time he gets to him now, he's going to really have momentum going for him, and he'll be able to make a big move. But here comes Ford looking to the outside for Griffin's Bend again. Second time, not going to be close enough. He'll have to slot back in line. But running offline there a little bit, certainly allowing that car of Sam Sutton to close in a bit here. But Ian Ford's car looking definitely the worst for wear at the moment. Got some front end damage on that car now. I think it's really impeding his chance to make a move on Josh Rogers. But at the moment, Sutton once again closing back in as we head up the mountain.
Yeah, closing back in Sam Sutton all the time. The fresher tyres are now starting to come to life. Those extra 2 laps less on the tyre degradation is where it's going to help now at the end. And I think Ian Ford has tried that move around the outside at Griffin's, I think about 3-4 times now, and hasn't paid off. I think he needs to start looking somewhere else. I think he needs to stop trying to have a move there, because he knows Rogers is going to defend the inside, and we've seen someone try and go around the outside. I think it was Jamie Winker in the 2013 Bathurst around trying to go around the outside of Mark Winterbottom, and it didn't pay off. He went out in the marbles and drifted out wide and lost a chunk of time. So I think he needs to look somewhere else, maybe coming down into the chase, maybe a better spot for him to get the pass done with the draft. He's certainly in it now. He's going to have a full head of steam coming down into the chase. He's actually looking around the outside into the kink. He's going to be, I thought he was going to throw it. He is going to throw it. No, he isn't. Very late on the brakes, and Sam Sutton's back into this again. Actually, Sam Sutton may be able to have a look into Murray's. He got a great drive. Ian Ford sticking to the white line. Sam Sutton trying the long way round, not going to get it done. Ian Ford used a lot of curve switch back. He's done the switch. He's coming down. I think he will definitely have him going into the hell corner. Let's move Sam Sutton up into P2. Ian Ford not going to hold it. And Sam Sutton up into P2. 1-2 right now for TTL. Ian Ford's going to be in the draft. You may have a look. But look at this. Here comes Sam Sutton. He's going to be trying to get past his teammate. He'll want this week.
Oh, he certainly will, and this is going to make it really exciting. Can Josh Rogers hold off the charge of Sam Sutton? We get some team orders playing a factor here. As inside looks Ian Ford. Oh, he wobbles. Sutton goes wide. Ford makes the pass through in Griffin's Bend. Wow, this is close. This is going to let Rogers run away now. These guys have to calm down.
Wow, what a move there. Very late move from Ian Ford and Sutton. Very late on the brakes into the cutting. Ian Ford hit the inside curb, nearly drilled the door of Sam Sutton. Sam giving him a lot of room to be able to get back going without any contact. Good racing by the top 3, but that has let Josh Rogers off the hook. I think he's got a good 2-second gap, and he can manage that. We've only got a handful of laps to go, 4 laps to go now, coming over the top of the hill. There'll be around 3 laps to go when they cross the start-finish line. So I think that may have left Rogers off the hook to be able just to settle in a rhythm. He doesn't have to watch his mirror now, and could have handed him the victory, but I wouldn't count Ian Ford or Sam Sutton out. They're going to push these cars. They're going to try and do qualifying laps on old tyres to try and close that gap to the leader, Rachel, and it certainly will be on.
Oh, it certainly is, and that draft's going to be a big equaliser. I think that gap will close up within a lap or two. We're going to see some really hairy racing. Let's not forget Adam Zeitinger down in P4 at the moment. He could possibly win this race, as someone just said on YouTube. Yeah, I think he might actually have a chance if these 3 tangle horns. But looking great at the moment as these guys are pushing really, really hard. Awesome racing from the top 3 here, running down to the chase now. Josh Rogers, we'll see what the gap is this time by the line, but wow, Sutton's closing on Ford again. We see another pass in Murray's. We're going to have a look. Is he going to look up the inside? He might. He's not going to, but he'll try for the undercut again. Oh, he's
tapped him on the exit. He's turned him into the inside fence. He got him in the left rear. Ian Ford has hit the inside wall. Coming out of Murray's, the number 1 car is damaged front end. We're going to look at a replay there, I think, here, and he's just... Sam Sutton laid on the brakes, and he's just tapped him and around he went into the inside wall. That's an interesting one to call. With
controversial
that
though, Jake. I think I think Sam Sutton wasn't lifting from that one, and there might be some post-race discussion about what happened there. But he's won the championship. He will not win this race.
Yeah, I think Ian Ford's now just going to have to settle for the championship, not the race. And yeah, pushing as hard as you can on the last 3 laps now, and I think it's going to be a Rogers out in front, Sam Sutton in P2, and Ian Ford's going to try and limp that car to the finish. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually has a meatball flag, and that could actually elevate Adam Zettinger into P3, getting on the podium in an official series. I have to say, Adam, sorry to the rest of the field as well. We haven't been focusing on it with the amazing battle going out in front, but Adam Zettinger definitely
Pretty spread out there, Jake.
Yeah, pretty spread out now, and I have to say Adam has driven an amazing race, an amazing season, definitely improved from strength to strength to get it on the podium in the final official race for this season. In the top split is a good drive, and out in front, I don't think Sam Sutton is going to close that gap, Rachel, in 2 laps. I think it may be Josh Rogers' victory.
He could. It's clean now. He's not got Ford to deal with. That's a big gap, though. It's about 2 seconds. We've seen him close it up in the past, though. It could happen. Not sure it will, but it has happened before. He's going to be pushing hard now, but he also knows he's got a comfortable 2nd place here, so it's going to be a good run for Sutton. Josh Rogers, though, has to be comfortable out front, but controversy with 3 to go here at the mountain. Ian Ford, your championship winner. I believe that's still the case, Jake, but oh, he's not going to be happy. That car will be heading down pit road, we think. No, he's staying out.
Staying out, so maybe it's not. It was a big hit, but he may have gotten away with it, and he's just trying to limp it home to the finish. He does have a good 20-second gap back to Adam Zettinger to be able to coast around and get the car to the end, as we have started to go here. Sam Sutton not running the pace. He was less than a 10th quicker than Rogers out in front. I think he's going to try and settle and make it a 1-2 here for TTL. I don't think they'll be wanting to get into each other's battle. I don't think they'll want to either of them lose a comfortable 1-2 here. And Rogers just driving the car now within what he needs to do to be able to get it to the end. Wow, controversy again at the mountain, can we say? It's been always that case here. Yeah, if something's going to happen, it's going to happen big, and it definitely happened big this time around, Rachel.
Oh, it certainly did, and well, what an exciting finish to this race. We thought there'd be some help at some point with somebody, but Sam Sutton wanted that place, and he wasn't prepared for a slow Ian Ford in front of him. Unfortunate for Ian Ford, he's got to eat some barrier for that one. The gap is closing down between Sutton and Rogers, but it's not going to be enough. Looking like Ford should hold on to his 3rd place here. 22 seconds back and 1 more lap to go for him to stay ahead of Adam Zettinger in 4th. There's Crackers in 5th, Michael Cracknell. We've got David Moore in P6, Richard Alward in 7th, Mario Visick in P8, and it's Greg Sharp P9. Last car on the lead lap and last car in the top 10 is Mikkel Engberg. Top 10, the only cars on the lead lap after we've had nearly 40 laps of racing at the mountain. Jake, we've still got, I believe, 17 cars running. No, we don't. We've got 15 cars running still of 24. So it's been a brutal race here at Bathurst, and well, teammates now closing up to the final lap. It's going to be about a 2nd gap between Rogers and Sutton in the final lap. Not going to see any hairy moves there, we think.
I don't think it will be on this final lap here. 1.3 second gap between the 2 TTL teammates of Josh Rogers and Sam Sutton out in front. I think that'll be where they finish. Good drive from both of them to end up with the final round and final race of this season. Especially of this build. New season next season with a whole different car to be said. It's going to make it interesting, Rachel, to see who actually will be able to take quickly to the new car and be able to get the pace right out of it, especially these top teams. Obviously they've got a good driver lineup behind each of the teams, and I think they will be the ones that will definitely be able to get a handle on the car as quickly as possible and show the pace of the new build.
Yeah, certainly. Of course, we know the version 6 tyres, they've definitely got strength in terms of off-corner grip, which is a big thing, especially for this car, which does sometimes struggle with the traction, wheel spin off the corner, so might be a good thing there for this car. We'll see some better strength off the corner. That certainly would have saved the car of Bo Cattell. He was the number 3 car. He was running so well. Made a pass on Ian Ford for 2nd place, of course, earlier on. Unfortunately, lost it approaching Skyline in that very situation. So, as we come down out of Forest Elbow for the final time in 40 laps here at the mountain, the last race of the season, over to you, Jake.
Yeah, last race of the season here, 40 laps about to be completed, coming down Conrod for the last time here for Josh Rogers for TTL with Hyperstimulator on his Ford Falcon. He'll be coming through the chase for the last time, making sure that I think there will be a 1-2 here. I'm 100% certain now with Sam Sutton. Maybe a little bit of a choreographed finish between the two teammates, finishing up this build with a 1-2 here at Bathurst. And here comes Josh Rogers, the final winner of Season 2 for the official V8 Supercar Championship Series here at Mount Panorama Bathurst. 1-2 for Team TTL with Sam Sutton taking P2 today. And controversial instance. We'll see what happens after the race, where that goes. But Ian Ford limping his car around. He's going to come across the line here in P number 3. Tried to smoke it off. Yeah, finishes it off. I think that car has had it. I don't think he'll do many burnouts for the championship there. May want to move out of the way as his teammate Adam Zenninger coming home to finish in P4. Strong season for Adam to be able to get that crackers as well. Just beating home David Moore. So good job for everyone for this season, Rachel. It's been an interesting one, and TTL finish it with a 1-2.
Yeah, they certainly do. 1-2 for TTL, Evolution Racing off Australia 3 and 4. So a great race for that series. There's two teams really. Championship for Ian Ford. Wow, very well deserved for him, and incredible racing we've seen so far. Just awesome racing, especially here at the mountain. What a day we've had. Perfect end to the season.
Yeah, amazing end to the season. Bathurst always is able to throw that one up. And I think I will go through the results for the final round here at Mount Panorama Bathurst. Josh Rogers taking the victory ahead of his teammate Sam Sutton, leading home a TTL 1-2. Ian Ford taking the final step on the podium, the championship elect for Season 2. Well done to him, with Adam Zenninger coming home in 4th, an ERA teammate there. Michael Cracknell in 5th for SDC, just beating home David Moore to the line. Richard Elwood in 7th with Mario Vlasic in 8th, and then Greg Sharp coming home in P9 with Michael Engberg being the last car on the lead lap. The rest of the drivers on your screen in finishing positions, a lot of attrition here, high attrition rate as usual around Bathurst with only 15 cars finishing this one. And we will head to a short break here on RaceSpot TV before we come back for some post-race interviews here at Mount Panorama Bathurst. So I hope you can stick by for that. And we'll take a short break here in the commentary booth.
Since 2010, the highest echelon of sim racing competition has focused on NASCAR and Grand Prix racing. 50 of the best drivers in the world doing battle for championship glory. Each man for himself, and even though there may be teammates on track, each driver is in command of his own destiny. Until now. 2016 sees the start of a new era in World Championship competition, with team racing getting its chance in the spotlight. No longer can one driver rule supreme, but you must rely on those with whom you share a car, a setup, a strategy. Endurance racing can be very different to other forms of motorsports, with races in this series lasting either 3 or 6 hours. Teams of 2 or 3 drivers, perhaps on opposite sides of the world, will share seat time, each having to collectively work towards one common goal. Crash out, and it's not just you who you let down. Officially sanctioned by SRO, it will be teams of drivers who will go head to head, car to car, rival to rival, in the pursuit of a championship. And there's over $25,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs. Some of the world's biggest sim racing teams are represented. There's also a group of teams who haven't seen this stage before, who want to make their mark and say we can hang with the best. The team racing revolution is here. It's loud.
welcome back here for post-race interviews for the final round of the official V8 Supercar Championship Series here on Motorsport TV in conjunction with iRacing. The final round of Season 2, the championship has gone to Ian Ford and the final round win has gone to Josh Rogers. Here we have Rachel Whiteford has caught up with Sam Sutton here in post-race, and we'll hear from Rachel right now and hear what Sam Sutton has to say.
Thanks, Jake. You're going to chat to Josh Rogers in just a moment, the winning driver for TTL, but his teammate Sam Sutton's here with me. Sam, interesting race for you, of course. Longer than usual first pit stop by about almost 7 or 8 seconds over your teammate and the rest of the top runners. Decent race for you, but a little bit of controversy at the end. What happened?
Yeah, well, you can call it controversy, I can call it Ian Ford gets on the grass, and that's what happens when you're that close, nowhere to go, and just a gentle tap as he was on the grass, and he found the wall at a rapid rate. But I think controversy, if you want controversy, maybe Ian Ford using the old pit lane limiter glitch of shifting gears while in the pit lane might stir that.
Well, we did wonder whether he was on the limiter or turning the limiter off, in fact, running down there to get that pass completed, but certainly a tight race for you as well. Before that tap, perhaps, with Ian Ford, do you think you perhaps had something in there to bring it to your teammate? Yeah,
I felt after the first stint was pretty dodgy for me. It wasn't quite in the rhythm. Second stint was a lot better once I had that clean air just to get the rhythm of the track. And that last stint there, having the lighter fuel load because of my longer first stop, definitely helped with the pace. And Rogers had a bit of front end damage, which was hurting his straight line, which was what was keeping Ian within that close range down the straights. But I thought I had a little bit, but then just being stuck behind Ian for so long burnt those front tyres. And at the end of it, had nothing really across the top for Rogers in those last few laps.
Well, a great race from you, of course. A great way to end the championship and the season with a great second place there behind your teammate. Sam, back to you, Jake.
Thank you, Rachel, there with Sam Sutton. Congratulations again on P number 2 here tonight. And here we have Josh Rogers, our winner for the final round of Season 2 here in the official V8 Supercar Championship. Josh, good drive again. To take the final win of this final build, the old builder. Well done to you. You were able to hold Ian Ford back, and then the two, your teammate and him, got together, and you just drove away from there.
Yeah, look, it's Bathurst. You can't not show up for this one, but that was awesome fun, that race. Definitely stuffed up quali a lot on my first lap. It was looking pretty good, but brushed the wall out of the elbow, so that stuffed that one up, and I was just trying to consolidate a lap from that point. But look, first stint was good fun trying to get past Ian, Sam, and Bo, I think it was. But yeah, like I think Sam said earlier, sitting in that draft for so long really does chew your front tyres and makes it real hard over the top. But no, it was an incredibly fun race.
Yeah, it looked like you guys had an awesome amount of fun out front, and it was always close between all 4 of you until Bo Cattell had that incident, and then obviously the incident between Ford and Sutton. But that's another win that you were able to notch up in this car, the final one of this new build. Looking forward to the next season, Rogers, with a completely different car. It's going to change everyone's driving and what happens next season.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be nice, the fact that the tyres will run nicer in that hotter temperature range. And I mean, tonight I know that's something I definitely struggled in that second stint. But yeah, looking forward to next season. We might do a few races, but yeah.
Yeah, well, hopefully we get to see you next season, Josh, putting in another solid effort once again. Congratulations on taking a TTL 1-2 tonight. Anyone you'd like to thank before we let you go?
Oh yeah, just huge thanks to TTL, Sam, for the fun race. Hyperstimulate, obviously our main sponsor. They do an awesome job. If anyone's looking for some sim gear, definitely look to them.
Well done, Rogers, and congratulations again on what was a good P1. We'll move to Ian Ford here. P3, Ian, not the result you're looking for. A little bit of controversy there at the end between you and Sutton. Sutton said you got in the grass, and then obviously it was turned off his front nose. Definitely interesting. You could have had a shot at Josh Rogers in front, but it wasn't to be.
No, I'll just get over that controversy. I have my opinion, he has his opinion. I'd like to clarify the pit thing though. I heard that on the broadcast a second ago, but if you actually run the pit limiter in first gear, it's actually 58 k's an hour and 60 is the pit speed limit, so there's a fair bit of leeway to improve your speed because you're going up a hill there. And yeah, it was quite an intense race. Glad to actually make the finish, let alone any other positions sort of thing. So I'm just happy the season's over and we're heading more towards a shorter sprint sort of format next season. That's going to be good, especially with the new build coming.
Yeah, new build coming, and well done once again, Ian. You've had a marvellous season. You've notched up the championship to be able to take that championship. You've been the bridesmaid multiple times, and to be able to finally notch up that first championship, it must be good to do that, especially with this old build before the new build comes in.
Yeah, certainly. I think no matter who I've been against in this car since the Holden came out, I've been pretty much fourth as the lowest I've finished in the championship. So it's finally good to crack the win and come home with it. So it was nice to go into a race and not have to worry about points or anything, and just put the car where it needs to be and drive it as hard as it could, as long as I could. And a bit unfortunate the car was a bit unco during the race, but yeah, it was quite a nice thing, quite nice for the team to notch up another championship in the Holden, and can't wait to see what next season brings with the new car and everything like that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with next season. But once again, congratulations on the championship. Not the result you're looking for to end the season, but still, marvellous job. Anyone you'd like to thank for the entire season and all your sponsors?
Night Rider Designs for doing all the skins for all our cars. They always look quite smick on the broadcast, so hopefully next season with a bit of a revamp, hopefully they look equally as good. Maverick Welding, they were on board, and I brought them a lot of second places. Unfortunately, it didn't bring them a championship, but they're actually on the car now, so that's always the main thing. And MPMS Simulators and Joel Real Timing for helping out a bit with strategy tonight. I don't think I would have come out in clear air when I did in the first stop without that. And GTI Springs in the pedals, as always, makes the pedal a bit firmer, and gives you a bit more confidence on the brakes. So hopefully moving forward into next season we get another top 3 result, try and back it up, and can't wait to get myself down into the SDRT simulated series. That's going to be probably one of the best league races that there is on iRacing, so hopefully everyone signs up for that and we'll see everyone in the new season.
Yeah, good job once again, Ian, on taking the championship. And here we have Rachel, I think, has caught up with Michael Cracknell, who finished in P5 today at Bathurst.
Yeah,
Hey guys,
thanks,
how you
Jake. We do have him here. In fact, it's P5 for you today, Michael. Good race, good result for you. A couple of rather hot times into pit road, but pretty quiet overall for your car.
Yeah, lap 1 was interesting with Richard. I think we had a bit of a lag hit, as he described it before, and he did an amazing job to catch it. Once I got popped by him, it was a pretty lonely race up until the sort of last stint. And yeah, going into pit lane, I always try and go in there too hard and nearly bin it. But no, it was good fun.
Well, certainly a good one, and looking forward to next season in the new car.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to get my hands on it and start doing some different things with the setup, and just to see what it does, more or less. So yeah, it's long overdue, but really looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, great result from you, of course. Top 5 in the final race, and hopefully, a new season, a new chance at a championship run this time coming through. So you can adapt to the new car, the car changes to the current car, I should say, fastest. And, thanks for joining us. Back to you, Jake.
Thank you, and well done again. Michael Cracknell on P number 5. I think that will wrap it up here for post-race interviews for the final round here at Mount Panorama Bathurst for the official V8 Supercar Championship Series. Once again, thank you to the director Hugo Luis for doing all the lovely camera work for the entire season, and once again thank you to Rachel Whitefoot for joining me in the commentary booth for the final round, which was marvellous here at Bathurst. And I am Jake Blackall, and thank you for watching the final round here at Mount Panorama Bathurst for the official V8 Supercar Championship Series here on Racespot TV. We hope to see you for the future events that will be coming up on Racespot TV, and we hope that you have a good enjoy the Week 13 break before next season of the official V8 Supercar Series gets underway. Goodbye.